Hey everybody, this is Ramon El Magnifico and welcome once again to a new episode of the Famous Pipe Smoker Friday Show. In fact, I believe this is episode 18. Woohoo! And on this episode of the Famous Pipe Smoker Friday Show, we remember a master folk singer and a Yule time staple, Mr. Burl Ives. Woohoo! Happy birthday, sir! Bert Ickle Ivanhoe Ives. Hopefully I said that first middle name properly. If it's not Ickle, it's Eichel, but I think it's Ickle. Was born in Hand Township, Illinois on June 14, 1909 to a poor family of tenant farmers. Ives gave his first public performance at age 4 when he was asked to sing at an old soldiers reunion, displaying an aptitude at football. The strapping youth, decided to become a coach. Before completing his studies at Eastern Illinois State Teachers College, he left school and began hitchhiking across country, earning a living by singing wherever anyone would pay him for his services. Describing himself during his early years on the road as a tourist without funds rather than a hobo, Ives enhanced both his musical and life experience by visiting many different towns and cities in the United States, absorbing local culture and singing wherever he found an audience. Wow. By the early 1930s, Ives had made his way out to California with his banjo, where he lived a hand-to-mouth existence working in restaurants and speakeasies. Ives committed hundreds of folk songs to memory and could perform any of them on demand. This incredible ability, coupled with his salty, down-home sense of humor, genuine emotions, and eminently relaxed style, easily won over most audiences. Upon taking voice lessons to enhance his talents, Ives made his Broadway debut with 1938's The Boys from Syracuse. Ironically, in a part that offered no opportunity to sing. However, within 2 years, he was a regular presence on the radio with the 15-minute CBS program Wayfaring Stranger. Well on his way to becoming one of America's most beloved balladeers, he was back on Broadway that year and singing this time in Heavenly Express. Ives' stage and radio careers were put on hold when he was inducted into the Army. But his talents were not wasted. He was assigned to perform in the cast of Irving Berlin's patriotic musical This is the Army, which he was part of from 1942 to 44, and remained a part of the company for 18 months. Sorry, the show was for 42 to 44. Ives was only there for 18 months. Upon discharge for medical reasons, Ives earned his first Broadway starring role in Sing Out, Sweet Land, which ran from 1944 to 1945. In 1946, Ives decided he wanted to try his hand at film acting. So he grew a beard, good for him, because dang, and had a photographer shoot a series of stills of him in dramatic poses. After a false start at MGM, where he was briefly hired for a part in The Great Sinner, but was replaced with name star Walter Huston, Ives made his film debut in Smokey, which came out in 1946, an adaptation of Will James' classic children's novel. Additional roles followed in Another Horse Story, Green Grass of Wyoming, as well as Station West and So Dear to My Heart, all of which came out in 1948. That same year, Ives also published his autobiography, The Wayfaring Stranger, which he later admitted was not always entirely truthful. Additionally, that decade, the singer's historically invaluable collection of 3,400 ballads was added to the Library of Congress, and the first of many Ives records began to appear in stores, including the 6-album collection Historical America in Songs. He also performed concert tours, sometimes covering 48 states and a few international dates, as well as finding time to continue singing on radio. Returns to Broadway in She Stoops to Conquer, which ran from 1949 to 1950. Paint Your Wagon, which ran from 1951 to 1952, and Showboat in 1954 followed. But Ives' career was temporarily sidelined in 1952 when he was called to testify before the House Committee on Un-American Activities, where he admitted having attended meetings put on by a leftist group. Ives' decision to cooperate and name names created a rift between himself and some of his fellow folk singers. But now able to resume working, he was cast in his first notable film role as a small-town sheriff in Elia Kazan's critically acclaimed East of Eden, which came out in 1955. He also enjoyed another triumph that year, earning the acting role he is most identified with, Big Daddy Paulette, in the acclaimed Broadway adaptation of Tennessee Williams's Cat on a Hat Tin Roof, a part he would reprise in Richard Brooks' 1950 version of a film version of the musical. He won an Oscar for his larger-than-life supporting turn as a bitter cattle rancher in Williams Wyler's epic western, The Big Country, which came out in 1958, and contributed memorable performances to the Eugene O'Neill adaptation, Desire Under the Elms, which came out in 1958, Wind Across the Everglades, also in 58, the comic spy caper Our Man in Havana, which came out in 1959, Let No Man Write My Epitaph, which came out in 1960, and The Spiral Road, which came out in 1962. Another signature role for the entertainer came when he lent his incredible voice to Sam the Snowman, narrator of the Rankin Bass children's classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which would air on NBC in 1964, and that became a Christmas TV perennial and spawned 2 more hit songs for Ives. He also did voice work for the animated feature The Dreamer in 1966 and earned a Grammy Award for the album Chim Chim Cheree and other children's choices. Additional film roles came in the comedies The Brass Bottle, which came out in 64, where he played a genie, the belated Mr. Roberts sequel Ensign Pulver in 64, and Those Fantastic Flying Fools in '67. He also earned a final credit on Broadway with the titular role in the Ira Levin thriller Dr. Cook's Garden in 1967, and made periodic trips to television, notably as the star of the short-lived sitcom OK Crackerby, which aired on ABC from 1965 to '66. And in a recurring part on the final season of The Bow Ones, The Lawyers, which aired on NBC from '69 to '72. With the rise of folk singers like Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and the Kingston Trio in the early '60s, Ives opened a new phase of his career, successfully adding the Nashville sound of country and western to his repertoire, enjoying several more hit recordings. And the success of those younger singers also caused the sales spikes in Ives' back catalog, giving him a new generation of fans. During a professional career lasting more than 5 decades, Ives entertained audiences all over the world, made several hundred recordings, heard on over 90 records, and more than earned himself the oft-cited title of America's Greatest Folk Singer. Ives officially retired from show business on his 80th birthday in 1989 and settled in Anacortes, Washington. Although he continued to do frequent benefit performances at his own request, Burl Ives died in 1995 at his home in Anacortes, Washington. His wife and 3 stepchildren were with him when he died. So that's it. That's all I have for Mr. Ives. My thanks to Turner Classic Movies and IMDb for the bio. And again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Were you familiar with Mr. Burl Ives' work before today? Did you know him from Rudolph? That's what I knew him from. Let me know in the comments. If you know of any other famous pipe smoker that you would like me to cover on the show, let me know in the comments or send me a message. And if you like this episode, please hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you will be notified when my shows go up. Both episodes of the Famous Pipe Smoker Friday show as well as my movie reviews. And please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the El Magnifico. So, until next time, this is Ramon El Magnifico saying once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you all. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Ciao.